Welcome to the Bulletin Podcast.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the Willy Brandt School Bulletin Podcast. We are your co-hosts today. I am Ari.
And I'm Tracy, and we're both first-year students of the Willy Brandt School Master of Public Policy program.
Today we have a special episode about Commitment Award. I'm so excited. Do you mind sharing a bit about the Commitment Award, Tracy?
Yes, sure. So the Commitment Award is an annual award given to students who generally apply what they've learned at the Brandt School and are eager to initiate new social and sustainable project ideas. So for those who may be interested, you can also find how to ideate your passions during the social entrepreneurship course if you take it as an elective. And this award is an yearly award ceremony in Erfurt. It selects 3 winning projects based on careful evaluation by a jury of experts across different industries. And in the last 11 years, 33 of these prizes, totaling around 51,000 euros, have been granted. And usually after the first year of the project, there's a follow-up that's done. So we check in with the winners to see how far they've got and any other support that they may need throughout their process.
Wow, that is huge and very important movement for social development. In today's episode, we are delighted to welcome our winners for the Commitment Award 2023. Actually, there are 3 winners supposed to join this podcast. However, Caleb from Mexico and Ziafat from Afghanistan could not join us in this episode. But we will definitely love to have them in the next conversation. Well, for today's episode, we are delighted to welcome our winner for the Commitment Award 2023. Please welcome Charles Peyo. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm fine, thank you for asking.
And we're really happy to have you here today, as we've said. And we would just like you to maybe introduce yourself a little bit, give us a background, and a follow-up is a snapshot of your project. What was your project about, so that we can get acquainted with it?
Okay, thank you so much for requesting me to come and share with you my project. My name is Charles Peyo, as I said. I'm from Ethiopia. Ethiopia is a large country in terms of diversity. I'm from South region, Southwest Ethiopia. The other name, Low Omo Valley. This community is like a marginalized region. Like the most people live in those areas are pastoralist communities, people who depend on animals. People who move from one place to another, searching for grass and water. And the community I'm targeting, Nyangatom community, are found along the border of Kenya and Ethiopia. And the conflict they normally have with the counterpart like Turkana of Kenya, based on natural resources such as grass and water. Most of the time, the Nyangatom communities in Ethiopia, they have water access. For Turkana, they have grazing camps. When the Nyangatom go for grazing to Turkana land, that's how they fight. Then the Turkana say, if you give us water along the River Nakua, then we'll give you grass. So that becomes an issue. All this happened because the cross-border demarcation between the border, Kenya, Ethiopia, these communities speak the same language. They speak the same language. Those are some of the causes of the conflict. Secondly, there are harmful traditional practices. One is like if you kill someone in a community, like from a different tribe, you will be respected. You will be praised by ladies. Like those people who have not killed, they will be feeling like, you are not even a man in the community. You cannot even protect the people, sort of things. Those are some of the things happen. And if other young people see like, I have not done, then they will be incited now to go and kill so that they tattoo themselves. There is a way they tattoo themselves to show that they kill someone from other tribe. Those are some of the things. Furthermore, there is also if you raid animals from other tribe, you will have to pay dowry. In our community, you have to pay 60 cows. For youth who don't have cows, they must raid from other communities so that they also marry through those cows. So what usually happens is like when the conflict starts, the most affected are children. Children are harmless with the mothers. Sometimes when the conflict starts, then these children save to smaller towns for safety. When they go there, now they encounter a lot of challenges. They are exploited, child labor, at the same time lack of protection, lack of education. So seeing this kind of problem, I was seeing like I was a victim. when I was 12 years old, my brother was killed. When my brother was killed, I was kind of traumatized, and then I escaped to Kenya. When I went there, my mother also left that place and went somewhere where she developed a mental problem. So from there, I went to school and I stayed in Kenya for almost 16 years without reuniting with my family. During the time when I was in high school, I was like, I would love to kill someone like a Turkana who killed my brother. That thing disturbed me a lot. So with time, when I finished my undergraduate program, I changed. Killing is not something that I can be used. To make it fun, I was selected as president in the university. So that's changed everything because I was leading diversity, people of different cultures, different countries, races. So that also made me if I segregate people, then I will be causing also conflict to myself. So that's what happened in this area. So the people are these children are always affected. And I saw what can I do now to do this so that, other people who have never gone to this kind of stages or problem, they may not even know such. Then me as a survivor who has gone to further studies, I found okay, it's good for me now to at least to target these children. Then the method we are targeting is we are targeting the children of 10 to 14 years of age, and then my project is targeting 10 children, to start with 10 children. We want to identify children who are displaced, survivors of conflict, at the same time children who cannot really help themselves when they go back to stay with their families. And that is what happened. So for me now to come up with this idea, there were some 3 components. One is family-based care, child care. That one is targeting we need to create a nurturing environment for a child. And then secondly is counseling. For counseling, we need to create kind of healing trauma so that these children forget the past and move their own lives. Because I found myself, when I lost my brother, I was victimized or traumatized. So I saw other children who went through the same are still thinking about that. So we are also targeting education to provide these children with skills and knowledge. The impact of this project would be now to reintegrate these children with their families, and then sustainable future where they become change makers in the society, where thirdly, they also find safe environment for them, they also act to reduce kind of conflicts in the society. Those are some of the things we were focusing. And then at the same time, we are seeing there will be financial issues for this project. This budget we got is not enough. But we will rely on the community. There is resource mobilization from the community we have. At the same time, there is an organization called Initiative for Pastoral Communication. This organization I initiated. I'm the one who registered. So this project now partnering with this organization will be an asset, because in terms of resources, we'll be using at least when this project may be end. Those are some of the resources we want to use. And there is also existing resources already, especially public goods, public schools are there. There are hostels. So we'll be using also such things we will be using hostels for free, but we'll support the children with the books at least. We will create also sport for peace, so that these children can just use public resources, because the budget we have is not enough to start everything. So those are some of the things we want to use. There are also challenges. There will be challenges from the community, especially the obstacles. There are cultural practices, especially from the community. When we host these children, their parents might come to return to go again to look after animals. Those are some of the obstacles. There is also political issues which might happen. And again, there is also maybe insecurity escalation. When the conflict starts, it will be difficult now to target which child is now suffering, maybe, in that regard. So those are some of the things in general that we are using for this project. Yeah.
Okay, wow. Thank you so much for this very clear, idea and how to transfer it from theory to practice. And it's really unfortunate what you had to go through with your brother and in your community, and also for other children who are, caught in conflict, and the things that they experience affect them for years and years. And we're really happy that you've gotten this opportunity to actually, do something about helping in the community. And you have talked about, yes, the financial implications of this, because you definitely do need money to create this sort of impact. So you did win the 1,000 euros. It's not as much as maybe you may need, but how do you think this 1,000 euros cash prize is gonna, benefit your project? What do you intend to do at this initial startup phase with the 1,000 euros that you had received?
Thank you for that. Sometimes people use ambitious kind of things to see things in a different way. I want to start smaller. When I know I'm demonstrating impact through this smaller budget I get. So that will make other also partners to see if I'm really involved with these children changing their lives, people will come for us. And what we want to use is we want to target these children are loved in terms of counseling, trauma healing, so that they accept themselves they are also loved like other children. Those are some of the things we will start with. There is Sport for Peace. If we Sport for Peace, we want to form children from this community with the other community of Turkana so that they play football. When you are playing a football, you want to achieve one goal. So when any community scores goal, then everyone will be clapping. So those are some of the things, because we'll be mixing children from other region of Turkana with Nyangatom that are targeted, then everyone will be clapping to see we can support one goal to become something that we also enjoy to as something for maybe exercise, whichever. Those are some of the things we are targeting. And then at the same time, we want to support them with things like books to start with. There are books like pens always are a challenge. So those are some of the things. When the school is closed, we want to buy food for them. Then they are together because we will be hiring also someone to come. At that extent, we will not be getting someone from other different areas. We need to find people already who are experienced within the local communities who will be also contributing to them in terms of maybe counseling. Yeah.
Wow, I'm sorry that turns out your project is very personal to you. And I also want to asking about your dealing in making realize of these projects. For example, since you are currently away from home and that distance may be an issue, how do you expect to carry out the project in your respective country? Will you collaborate with other local organizations as well?
Thank you so much. It's always to use also social media. Social media shows everything. There are things like WhatsApp, like Google, and me already being from that community, I know whose child need that need. Okay, because from this community, I will be using local community structures. They know whose child is really suffering from there, including the chiefs. I will have to approach them. Currently, an organization called Initiative for Pastoral Communication, my organization, there are already people who are working for organization. So I will be using them to recruit the children who are mostly affected. Me being here will not be an issue, because at the same time, I will travel to see myself to open the project to start up. Starting the project, I will just targeting at the same time contacting them to confirm. And those are the people whom we are using through the elders, especially the chiefs, especially the people who are leading in the Woreda. In any town always, there are always people who are always seeing children affected mostly. They will always say, this is the child who is suffering. We will not be targeting anyone. As I mentioned before, we'll be using children who are survivors of conflict. If their relative, maybe a brother or a sister, maybe lost and is there. So those are the target group. It's not just everyone. Yeah, because of the project also scope, we need to start with that. So being in Germany will not be an issue for me because I have that goal and that's why I'm here. Sure. Yeah.
I think what you're saying is really important, because often in these NGO spaces, or when people have social entrepreneurship projects, there's always the issue of localizing what you want to do and partnering with people who are actually in the communities and they understand this context. So I find it really good that you're going the community mobilization route, talking to the chiefs in the area or the Woreda leaders that you've mentioned. I think that way the impact will be definitely more, because they understand the context and they'll be able to do what it is you have intended in your project. And just to move on a little bit from that, you're in your startup initial phase. This is now the beginning of the project. So what type of partners outside from community, you've mentioned the local stakeholders, who are you looking to, or would you like to talk to so that your company can grow? It has a lot of potential. Who are you looking to partner with? And also, what do you imagine this project will look like, let's say, in the next 5 years? So those two questions, yeah.
Great. That is something that I was thinking, when you always have something in your mind, there could be a goal to lead you where you are going to. Like when I came to Germany, the goal was to graduate, and I graduated yesterday. That is accomplished already. So what I will be doing there, there are most of the things like in the community for you to target this goal. There are a few things you will have to know. You will have to start from the community. Yeah, the community are people like other international partners are the ones to be reached for interview. If your project is impactful, they are they are the one to give the feedback, because when they own the project, then they are the one even connecting, establishing networking. But that's not mean that I'm not really reluctant to rely on the community. I am already connected with GIZ. GIZ funded my organization 15,000 euros for conflict management between the two communities. And the project was kind of successful. And it achieved its goal in terms of bringing youth together. We established WhatsApp group, which was like bringing together this youth from the other communities, and we were targeting to give them credit so that they are communicating frequently. Any incident is reported. So my target is when I just connect with the partners like GIZ, there is also an organization called Children Foundation. There is UNICEF. There is UN. Currently UNs are targeting that children. Even when I was posted on a website, everyone was reaching me this is new idea, including my scholarship card. They requested me maybe next week you will maybe see on their website they were really very happy of the project. Through that, my project visibility and promotion will go through also those people who trusted my effort, who trusted my goal to be achieved. So in the next 5 years, I'm targeting to build a school which is targeting grade 1 up to 4. So when we target this school, we will not segregate, but we will be targeting our children who already are in a hosted organization. So, but the other children will be using school. I'm targeting to build the school within 5 years, from grade 1 up to 4. Targeting that. By the next, the government will take from there. So that is the target of 5 years. Sure.
Wow, that is a very comprehensive and very influential project. I would like to see and to know how is it the implementation going to be. Last question, because we can see how the Commitment Award is very important for the future. Maybe you can share a bit what makes you think that it is important to participate in the Commitment Award. And we would love also to know some tips. What if some students are interested, especially when realizing their passion for something that more tangible, such as social project, but they don't know where to start?
One, when I started to maybe joining Willy Brandt school, a student always has kind of things in their mind when they join school. Like you, if I ask you what is your maybe research topic that you want to write, some students always aligning with what they are interested when they came, with maybe the organization they have been working with, the societies, whatever maybe the goal they want to follow in terms of the interest. Also, they find themselves enjoying reading the subject. For me, being someone affected, I did economics and mathematics. Doing economics and mathematics, it does not mean I will be sticking calculating numbers. I wanted to base myself on policies. And social policies will not just come anyhowly. You need to test it. When I went through Willy Brandt School, Justice and Reconciliation class and conflict studies, those topics gave me what I did was I was targeting conflict studies, peace building. But conflict studies or peace building without justice and reconciliation, truth, reparation, it's a problem. So I found that these children, if these children are left behind, then there will be future cycle of conflict, revenge. So I found so to bring these kind of policies together, this is something because I went through, I want someone to see whenever you come to Willy Brandt School, put theories into practice. Because justice and reconciliation matters. I never forgive the enemies who killed my brother. But with time, I have forgiven them because I went through the system. And myself being a leader, I want people to see when I do something, I may not revenge what happened past. So those are some of the things when you start school, you know where you are heading to. Like me, I'm interested with conflict. With conflict because I had experience in peace building. But justice and reconciliation, when I studied in Willy Brandt, peace building is not enough because that person affected is not involved in this conflict. You must involve them. So that's why we need to reintegrate these children after counseling them so that they see okay, they forget the past. When they go to the community, they reunite with their families. Now I'm going to give you the tips of maybe more tips on how to write this commitment award. It's complicated, but I may say that because I kept on scratching the head. The thing is, you have to know the target. For example, identify the problem. My problem was like the conflict affecting children. As I stated, harmful traditional practices. So when you identify the problem, you have to start from the problem. From problem, now you have to find your target. Give at least number that you are targeting. It's just not writing. Because this 1,000 cannot maybe resolve all those things. You might have the ambitious kind of thinking, like you want to resolve maybe some issues in the region. But target it, make it smaller. When you have a nail, a nail will just follow how you eat. So try to follow it until you reach to your goal. I will say affected people you are targeting or any society, try to go as far those people, if it is women, maybe those women whom their husband were killed. You have to target those groups only, not all the society in the target. So you have to go with such a things to lead you where you are going to. Try to have something connected with your studies. You will enjoy writing because whenever you write, the goals, the policies, like when I was connecting with public policy, I was just enjoying because the government never realized these communities were together. They are pastoralist communities who are too much into free mobility. So the policies which the two governments initiated in terms of demarcation, it didn't favor them. So the thing is, if educated people like me, I went from Ethiopia to Kenya. So I'm now balancing the policies between the two countries, Kenya and Ethiopia. So I know the policies of the two countries. If I go through education, I benefited the two countries when I was dealing with conflict because I know the two policies. So those are some of the things you must know. Know your goal, where you are heading to, target the number. And then when you go to maybe key performance indicators, try to identify 4 or 3 that you will be targeting. Then try also to know the number of months you will be dealing with. Those are be specific. In other words, for you to achieve this, be specific and also give the obstacles that you'll be encountering so that people know that in case of anything, it will be better. And then one thing, maybe finally, I will tell you that when I got this commitment award, I got connection and even pride in the university when you walk, There is something like you own something among many who applied, but you are stood out. So that means also it gives you respect with the lecturers, receiving congratulations after graduation. Some of the courses have been doing the best and scoring good grades. So when they connect, the lecturers also become happy. They can invite you for tea somewhere, writing emails. Such a things are just, and also you being a DAD scholar, you two of you. So if you get this kind of achievement, it goes back to them. They feel like these are the people we target to give back to the community. So you feel pride, like you sharing with your scholarship. That's now open scope for your goal to be achieved. Because no matter you started small, with the school now website, everywhere someone you want to refer for your CV, it becomes marvelous. So that's what I can advise to you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Charles. This has been a wonderful session. I like how you've touched on so many aspects, from localizing your problem, how to actually, step-by-step process of applying for the commitment award, and relating, your theory to practice. You've said what you learned in school, you were able to, like in the classes, you're able now to, implement it on the ground level. I really wish you all the best in this project. I think it's a wonderful project, and I'm sure it'll go far, yeah? But before we wrap the session up, maybe there's someone out there listening who is interested in partnering with you or just getting more information about this project. Maybe give us your contacts. How can people contact you or reach you if they want to interact with you further on this project?
Yeah, I may share my email and also my WhatsApp number. Yeah, my email is Arupur Charles Peyo @gmail.com. My WhatsApp number is plus 2547068445570.
Okay, thank you, Charles, so much. Really happy to have you here. Thank you for taking your time to speak to us. And for our listeners, we've come to the end of our session today. Thank you once again. And my name is Tracy.
And I am Ari, and this has been another episode of the Willy Brandt School podcast. Thanks for joining us, and see you on the next episode.
You are most welcome. Thank you.